Good day! 'Tis the Craig Meister, live from Meister's realm. Gramercy for tuning in once again this day. The screen flashed. Hello. What an enjoyable return I had to the lanes in the first half of the year of our Lord 2026. I was blessed to see family members from days of yore and make some new family members as well. Huzzah. I started out on the cooler weekend of the Guthrie Renfest, which is odd to say a cooler weekend as it is in March, but that is a different topic entirely, we shall not cover here. The owner, John Pagonis, was quite generous to offer to let me shoot my longbow at his French castle target when he was launching trebuchet balls at it, boulders. And I did hit the castle one time during the afternoon, despite the high crosswinds. Huzzah! That was incredibly fun, going over there and launching at the French each time the trebuchet was there to back me up, knock down a wall. It missed, but I was able to hit it this year. I'm sure on some other weekends they nailed that castle. It was a very windy day that day. I hope to get to do that again. Huzzah! I ventured to Guthrie with Bruce Woods, who used to have the booth Twisted Woods Creations. And I also got to see Steve Ola and his son Tiernan that day. I also saw Ernie Cerise and his wife Sherry Cox. And the the Fortress Dwellers put on their usual high-octane show at the festival that second weekend. Alas, I did poorly in the archery tournament. I opted to use my own arrows instead of the whistling arrows that the tournament offered directed everyone. I had larger fletchings on mine, and in the afternoon, the crosswind was catching my arrows, and they were looked like they were riding waves to the target, so I did not do very well. But there was a young gentleman who shot right before me and did almost right in the middle. He hit the yellow in the middle of the target. I imagine he won that day. Good show, young man. Pardon me. All Renfaires could use more archery tournaments and have something just besides the little blue bows or the green bows that might have a 10 or 20 pound draw weight and shoot it. Hey, for fun, archery tournaments. It is a Renaissance or medieval festival after all. Help take us back. Take us back to the days of yore. Perhaps someone will get interested in archery. Podcast number 10. PSA number 10, perhaps? Let me see. Perhaps not. More tournaments. More archery. Huzzah! My next stop is the Norman Medieval Fair, and as the case had been several times the past few strings, I endeavored to dodge thunderstorms that day. I was successful in doing so, despite my 5-hour round trip. I was happy to see Esendil and chat just a bit with Bob, the incredible juggler, and also Fugly as well. Saw Fugly in the lanes. Listened to a few of his good songs. Robin Goodfellow, Robin Hood. There were a couple of young gentlemen there dressed as King Arthur and his steed / squire Patsy in the lanes. I had never seen that before in 25 years of attending Renfairs. I have seen a couple of Tim the Enchanters, but never Robin and Patsy. That was wonderful. I also observed a singing group at Norman under the tent. They appeared to be from a school or an acting company. That is an amazing way to save money if you have a Renaissance fair. Instead of paying some well-known group that travels the circuit or a large band, bring in local singers who know songs from the Renaissance era or of the Renaissance style. There are very few that we actually know from the Renaissance era that have been carried forward, according to Fugly. But that is a great way to save money. Bring in a local group, pay them. You don't have to pay for the hotels as a group from another town or state. and they're cheaper, and they put out good quality talent. So my quest to find new affordable boots failed at the Norman Medieval Fair. However, on the way home, I did find some leather waterproof boots at Atwood's stores for farmers and gardeners. And they I saved from $150 to $300 on my pairs of boots compared to things I've found at Renaissance fairs or online. Ah, you heard correctly. I saved $150 or more on boots by going to Atwood's. There's some good quality boots, and they're waterproof, so my feet will not get soaked any longer at fairs, as happened last October at Rentopia in the soggy grounds. I can just tromp through them. There and other places. So look at Atwood's if you need some boots that are not moccasins like I had, which were not waterproof. Well, Queensferry. Let us discuss the Queensferry Renaissance Festival. Just west of Veneta, on the third weekend of April, was the next place I rambled to. It has been the only Renfest I've attended both days, every time they've had the festival for the last 6 events. Why? The people. The people, the family that I get to see there after the long winter, the patrons, the entertainers, and the vendors are all worth being around. With the move to April this year, the trees were full of leaves. Let me get back here so I don't look like I have huge hands like a fish. Look at my fish. I have the trees were full of leaves, and it was not frigid this year. Wonderful. Among the other things that makes this event stand out, pardon me. Hold on. Is the main stage. If you stand in the right spot at the main stage, you can watch the performers, see the patrons in the crowd, and see most of the festival, which is very pretty from up there on top of the hill. You can see the pond, the wonderful pond, many booths and booths and the stage on the other side of the pond. It's very scenic. I do like that a lot. And if you were there when I was eating lunch, I believe on the first day, my name is Craig Meister. Craig Meister. Oh, sorry. Craig Meister. Right there. When I'm on camera here, it's on the wrong side, and I was pointing to the wrong side, telling someone my name so I can see how to spell it. I was pointing to the wrong side of my hat. Someone said, your name says Agincourt. Well, anyway, where was I with, I see. Queensferry has more of a village feel to it. It does not feel commercialized. You're not just a number there. You're not just, oh, there's patron number 638. There's patron number 412. No, they make you feel like you're a family. They're personable. The royals roam the grounds frequently. They come up and they do not just stride by. They look at me like I've seen at other festivals in the region. They talk to the patrons one-on-one. They do not stay also in their royal area or pavilion all day long either. Just march out to one place to perform and go back. They take time, and the cast takes time to say hello, especially at the gate. Scott is very good about talking to people as they come in the gate and being personal. It is very good. I do love Queensferry. I hope that weekend works for them well. And I encourage everyone to go out next spring to see them again. They will have a fireworks stand starting, what is this day? I believe on Monday, June 15th. They open fireworks stands across Oklahoma for sale. So I believe their fireworks stand is somewhere in the Sand Springs area, which is just west of Tulsa. Look on their Book of Faces page, Queensferry Renaissance Festival, to find out where that fireworks stand is, and go buy some fireworks if you like them. Or if you want to, should I say this? I might bring things down on me. If you do not like some of your neighbors, go buy fireworks and shoot them off for the next 2.5 weeks until the 250th birthday of this great nation. All the sales from the fireworks, not all of them, but I have to pay for the fireworks. The money goes to the festival. So, and it is a great way to support the festival. It is a great way to raise money for an event such as that. I better move along. My 3 trips to Castleton this year were good for visiting friends and ordering a new long-sleeved shirt from So Unusually Knotted. It is SEW, Unusually Knotted, KNOTTED. This is a short sleeve that they made for me 2 years ago out of 100% cotton muslin. It is quite breathable. I love it. And they had so much business this year, fortunately, that they're still working on my long sleeve. I have a unique fit between the sleeves and the shoulders and the shirt, so I shall pick it up soon. They produce quality clothes for men and women. I used to buy shirts for my nieces years ago. So also at Castleton, I was able to see Bob the Incredible Juggler. Always go see Bob wherever he is performing. He has a great show. He has 2 or 3 different main things he can do, and he mixes in other tricks and tips, and depending on if it's very windy or if it's a little rainy, he changes his act a little bit. But it's quite funny. It's good, subtle humor sometimes, and outright good humor otherwise. I was happy to see Esendale. I will be honest, and I hope next year they move them to a different stage so their acts do not get cut short. Every time people on the new stage for Volgamut, love Volgamut, it's not their fault. And the Washington Winters, they moved that stage around, and there was a huge wall right next to the Hidden Grove stage. They need to hide the Hidden Grove stage somewhere else where it is not quiet and they're not getting drowned out. Also, I wanted to see Willie Shakespeare, who travels the entire Ren circuit across the nation. He's usually there on one weekend. He was there 4 weekends this year, but also he was in the Italian Piazza on stage, and 20 yards behind him, they had pirates singing there. They're microphoned up, and they drowned out his act. I could not even enjoy his act, which is good as well. Should not treat an established act like that. Hope mayhaps they can alternate. They can put him and Esendale on the stage to alternate times next year. Well, I may not leave much from that area except to go see Gary the Stone Carver, my friend, and go see Bob, Incredible Juggler. So cooler weather would have sent me inside the gates for another visit this year. You can see the pictures of all the events I attended on the Meister's Realm Photos page on the Book of Faces. So now for something completely different. This is an effort I'm pushing at work for some of my coworkers and many people that work in other departments because well, they need it. What if Fair Board members everywhere took the Dale Carnegie course, How to Win Friends and Influence People? Excuse me, pardon me. My parents sent me to this class right after I graduated high school in the summer. I guess they figured I needed it because I was not as outgoing as you see me at the fairs now. And it was a wonderful class. It changed my life. I can get up now in front of large crowds of good people, such as yourselves, and out in public. I can talk in front of the biggest bosses wherever I work. Talk to, I don't know, city council members. I do not know if I've met anybody more powerful than that without being scared or having stage fright. This is an amazing class. It is 12 weeks long, and you get to read one chapter out of one book, another chapter out of another book. They have 3 books, and you read 1 chapter a week before the next class. You get to get up and practice doing speeches, have memory building exercises. I need to go over that again on the names, for I meet so many people in the lanes and at work and where I play sports. But it helps you remember names. I do need to go back over that book. So the Dale Carnegie course is offered in different cities around the United States. There's one just north of Tulsa and Owasso. There's one in Wichita, I believe Fayetteville, Memphis, and big cities all across the United States, and where people could go to physical classes. I'd recommend that the most. However, if you do not live near any town where they have listed, they have online classes now as well. So you can sign up for those. And you can change your life. If you can get up and talk in front of people, as their book says, you can move up in a company that you like, get more recognized, get more responsibility. And if you cannot afford to take classes right now, they have the 3 books online, or you can just watch them on YouTube. How to Win Friends and Influence People, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, and there's one for speech. It was the quick and easy way to effective speaking, but they have a different book online. Just look up Dale Carnegie speech book and you will find that video. They're like 7-10 hours long for some of them. Just turn it on in the background. Listen to it while you're doing laundry, cooking, something like that. You can learn these tricks and tips. It can be an amazing change. Because if you take care of your performers, go to dalecarnegie.com, DaleCarnegie.com. So if you take care of your performers, vendors, and patrons, make them feel loved, and actually love them. Love the relationships that you have with them. Not romantically, beware. It is essential to any successful event or company. It builds a great reputation, helps others in their path on life. It is easier to build and keep good relations with people you already know than to go out and find new ones. It's cheaper. You don't have to advertise or scour. If you're trying to hire someone, scour through interviews to find new people to replace ones you've lost because they may not have felt welcome where they were. Another issue to help Renfaires get better, I guess, or more popular, perhaps to get rid of any issues that routinely come up at Renfaires, perhaps the owners or board members can have someone from another event, not necessarily just Renaissance, offer constructive criticism. Let them tour your grounds, look at your map, and experience your event. Because it is possible that the grounds or the timing of performances are not optimally optimized, not organized the best for customer flow, for getting out from one stage and going, here, there's certain vendors right here, or here's certain food booths, or perhaps you have a smaller area. I read this in a book once and it worked at a Renaissance festival. You have a smaller area and 4 or 5 stages, and if all the acts ended at one time and you had all the people flushing into the lanes, they would not have to walk through the lanes and see, oh, is that a booth over there 6 people away? I cannot see their wares. If you can time the way the performances end, you can have people flooding the streets and a constant flow of people, a smaller flow so people can see the vendor booths, coming to the vendor booths, the food booths, going to see the live acts, perhaps some other event owners can help advise on that. Surveys of outgoing patrons are fine, but these should not just happen for vendors. They should happen for vendors. They should not just happen for patrons, but vendors and performers as well. See, so they can have their voice heard. Perhaps they have some ideas on how to fix and tweak your event so it's even more effective, better, and not just a few standard questions, but have room for 3 write-in suggestions or questions for people to ask. Oh, I could not find the privies this year. Where were the booths? Where were the chairs? There were not enough chairs here. Trash cans are only near the eating areas. Why are they not here by the performing areas? Just different things that the fair owners may not think of because they're so focused on getting people entertained and make sure everything starts on time, make sure all the cars are off of the grounds an hour before opening gate. You can get all kinds of good suggestions. I wish there were a couple or mayhaps several people or groups around the country that would go out like Robert Irvine on Restaurant Impossible, say, okay, this could change over here. You should do this instead of that. Get rid of that menu because no one here is buying that. Why are you having seafood? You're in Arizona. It costs too much to fly seafood in. Things like that. If there were some people out there that could go in and critique fairs to make them all better, then there'd be nothing to complain about. Huzzah! Except I cannot get there enough. They should have this event twice a year at least. That would be a wonderful complaint. Please have this event spring and fall, or indoors in the wintertime. Okay. Next topic. I took the time one Saturday morning to film 4 public service announcements. You shall see them released on YouTube over the course of the early summer on a screen near you. I'll also post them on Instagram. I've already published PSAs 9 and 10. And I will bring another update this summer on Book of Faces Live. For remaining 2026 events, I can tell you now that if you plan to attend the Scott Fest in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, let it be known that this is the last one they intend to hold. They got kicked off the normal site because they're building an amphitheater, which I've driven by there. It looks like a big airplane hangar. It is odd. And let's see, they had it in downtown Broken Arrow 2 Septembers ago. It was very poorly attended. Last year, they did not hold it at all. This year, they were back on the site that they've had in the last, 6, 8, 10 years. But mayhaps someone else will pick up the reins and hold it again. I imagine that the location fees there have gone up tremendously due to that new amphitheater being built there, which is odd because it does not touch any of the footprint where the Scott Fest have been held before, nor does the parking for it. So I do not know. Mayhaps somebody will pick up the reins and move it somewhere cheaper, land-wise, and return it to more of its Scottish roots, where it's more about a heritage festival, more sheath tossing and caber tossing and Celtic bands, Scottish bands, instead of turning it into a Scot rock venue, whiskey tasting extravaganza that it became over here. Even on the River West Festival Parks, where they also hold Oktoberfest, it was not the same that it was in Chandler Park 15 years ago. More treats, cheaper prices. Again, that got very expensive. Things get expensive when you bring in Scot rock bands from all over the United States and Europe. You cut those out, cut your prices. More people will come in the gate. That's all. General supply and demand. Very good. Also, the Narnia Fair in Fayetteville will be taking this September off. They plan to be back in Missouri next April. Fordland at the little castle. And also they plan to be back in Fayetteville in September 2027. But this year they're giving their cast and all their workers a bit of a break, a breather. They should be back next fall. More to come, and probably in about 2 months in August. So I am planning to myself make at least 2 Renfest Info and Fun podcasts this summer. In fact, I believe I will work on one this afternoon. And mayhaps you will see some other things as well this summer for me. I have hello. Thank you, Yvonne Tuttle. Always glad to see you at the festivals in your purple outfits. What kind of topics would you like to see me cover in a Book of Faces Live event such as this? Or what kind of things would you like to see me cover in podcasts? Would you like more music podcasts? Would you like to me to talk to a certain kind of vendor or performer. And if I know them already, I'll endeavor to line something up and come up with some good questions. I always try to ask questions that not everyone already asks them. Try to come up with some weird things. Not weird things, but unique questions that they makes them think a little bit instead of just giving the standard response. Well, like I told so-and-so over here, this is what we did on our first performance. I try to think of some new things. So you can get some different info on these performers. If you come up with some good topics for me, please leave a comment below or send an email to craig@meistersrealm.com or message me on the Book of Faces. Send a message to Craig Meister. So for the next few months, watch some good Ren-based movies like the 2010 King Arthur movie with Clive Owen and Keira Knightley. Check out the Book of Faces page for So Unusually Knotted, SEW, Unusually Knotted. Peruse meistersrealm.com, the Craig Space Meister channel on YouTube, and listen to the Renfest Info and Fun podcast. Hope you have a great day, a great summer, and I will see you soon. Godspeed to your next event, especially if any of you are going to north to Bristol or Minnesota this summer, or to the Colorado Renfest. Have a good, safe trip and enjoy. And we'd like to see pictures on the Book of Faces if you can make it. Gramercy for tuning in. See you all soon. Huzzah!